Hello everyone, welcome to episode 10 of the Young Adult Book Chat from the Vision Australia Library. I am Karen and I'm the trainee librarian at Vision Australia. It seems like ages since we've been planning to do 10 episodes of this. Hopefully we can do more. Anyhow, today we are going to be talking about the book The Divine Wind by Gary Disher. This is an Australian historical fiction book. And I picked it primarily because the character rings a great deal of bell with me in terms that he's an introspective person, introverted as well. So he does have a bit of commonality with myself. Anyway, this book, I read it at high school in VCE, and that's why it resounds powerfully with me anyway. So the book takes place in 1946 in the seaside town of Broome, and we are following the main character who is named Hart Penrose. Now, his father is a pearl logger, I think is what the book calls the pearlers in Broome. And it is basically telling a story about a young man who is growing up during World War II and how his relationship with the people around him are going, especially a young Japanese lady who is around his age as well. This is all in context with the backdrop of World War II happening, and we just follow the journey of Hart trying to reconcile the fact that he's falling in love with a Japanese lady or a Japanese young woman, Mitzi, and how everyone else in Broome were turning against the Japanese and Italians for that matter because of the war involvement of those two countries in World War II. It really portrays how back then race was such a defining, I guess, issue in Australian history, especially considering that I think the White Australia policy was still in place back then, and how Hart tries to resolve his growing feelings for a Japanese woman and his own Australianness, I guess we'll put it down. And there is also the issue of his mother, who's English and is so race conscious that she ends up leaving Broome because of the melting pot of cultures that were developing, because you just did not have Japanese there. You also had Aboriginals, slaves, I guess we'd call them, because that was back then, and how she just did not like how it was all, a melting pot of cultures in that era. I guess a turning point for Hart in this book was how Mitzi's father, who was he was a diver who dove into the sea to get the pearls, died rescuing him. And that defined, his relationship with Mitzi, because her father died rescuing Hart from a boat accident. This in turn was a bit of a blessing, I guess, because Hart could not enlist to join the war, and they had to rely, he had to rely on Mitzi, who trained to be a nurse, to look after him. And that's where the relationship really blossoms, where Mitzi falls in love with Hart, but in herself she knows that he's not very sure where he actually stands. She knows that he loves her, but the fact that they're both different races and the war kind of brings a barrier between them. one of the best moments of the books that I actually like was when Japanese planes went over Broome, and how it shot up Broome Harbour, I guess it was. And I don't know how true this was. I'm not sure whether it was a fiction part of the book, but how Mitzi, as a nurse, went down to the harbour regardless of the fact that she knew she was probably going to be turned away because she was Japanese, and she still did not allow the white Australians to prevent her from going down there and rescuing and helping and healing people who might have needed it. So I really liked this book because it had so many contours. It's got race, love, the pangs of growing up as a young adult in 1946, and how to reconcile, well, all that emotion and all those growing pains, and how it defined the characters themselves. This book is available in Braille and Daisy in our library catalogue. It is only 3 hours long, and in the Daisy format, it is read by multiple narrators, but they are talented narrators. It really does bring the story to life. So I hope you will enjoy reading it when you pick it up. Thank you.